Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to GNR Central. And today I want to do a true story episode behind Slash and Guns N' Roses and the band Megadeth. Now, majority of it's going to be focused on the relationship between Slash and frontman of Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, since there were stories and even it was reported in Slash's book that at one point he was offered to join Megadeth and leave Guns N' Roses. Now, one of the funny clips you guys may see on YouTube is back from the 80s of Guns N' Roses performing a concert and Axl singing Knocking on Heaven's Door, and then out of the blue Dave Mustaine comes on stage and kind of bothers Axl for a couple seconds, but you can see that after Mustaine walks off stage, Axl kind of laughs it off. So I've linked to that video down below. There's also another interview from Headbangers Ball on MTV where you can see Duff and Slash along with Dave Mustaine and Dave Ellefson of Megadeth. This is back from like 1988, 1989, and you can pretty much see that the guys from Guns N' Roses are pretty visibly intoxicated. So I've linked to that interview down below as well. So Ultimate Guitar did a bit of an investigation into this, and they found that in Slash's autobiography, he did talk a bit about almost joining Megadeth and jamming with some of the guys and even doing drugs with some of the guys. So it all took place around 1985 to 1986. Slash was in GNR, but the boys, of course, were yet to unleash Appetite for Destruction, which wouldn't happen until 1987. So Slash was already struggling with drug issues at the time, and he lived in the same neighborhood as Dave Mustaine, which led to the obvious thing, smoking crack and writing riffs. So Slash noted in his book that I crashed wherever I could and did whatever came to my mind. And there was a point when I hooked up with Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. We became friends. He was strung out on smack and crack, and he lived in the same neighborhood, so we hung out and wrote songs. He was a true, complete effing maniac and a genius riff writer. We'd hang out, smoke crack, and come up with some major heavy metal riffs, just effing dark and heavy as hell. Sometimes Dave Ellefson would join us. We got along great. We wrote some great shit. It got to the point in our drug-fueled creative zone that we just started seriously entertaining the idea of me joining Megadeth. Guns was in a holding pattern after all, and I was high enough to consider all kinds of bad decisions. Dave Mustaine is still one of the most genius musicians I've ever jammed with, but still in my heart of hearts, I knew I couldn't leave Guns. Oddly enough, Dave's recent comments on the matter don't exactly match Slash's story. Mustaine told LA Weekly that we did talk about Slash joining Megadeth. Actually, that was discussed more between Dave Ellefson and Slash than myself. Dave's the one who tells the story about that. I was there, but I wasn't the one who initiated the conversation. Those guys were way, way closer than Slash and I were at that time. We're all super close, but Dave and Slash were really, really tight. So, of course, there was some discussion of Slash joining Megadeth, but thankfully it never ended up happening. Not to say anything negative about Megadeth, but I'm just glad that he stayed with Guns N' Roses. Now, fast forward to August 20th, 1988. Guns N' Roses, Megadeth, and Metallica are playing Castle Donington Park in Donington, England at the Monsters of Rock Festival. Now, during Megadeth's set, Axl and Lars Ulrich joined the band to basically play a cover of Anarchy in the UK. If you guys want to listen to the cover, I've linked to it down below in the description box. We also conducted an interview with Guns N' Roses' former manager Doug Goldstein earlier in the year, and one of the things we talked to him about was some of the celebrities who wanted to hang out backstage with Guns N' Roses back on the Use Your Illusion tour, and one of those was during Rock in Rio 2 that took place in 1991. There was a time when Dave Mustaine, whose band Megadeth was also on the same bill as Guns N' Roses, wanted to go talk to Axl, but basically Doug Goldstein said that he wasn't going to let Dave Mustaine talk to Axl, and Axl had no interest in talking to him. Now, Slash was, of course, doing a lot of press for his latest release with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators for his latest record, Living the Dream, and he stopped by Loudwire to give an interview, and they asked him about a possible collaboration with Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, to which Slash said, I haven't ever talked to him about it, Slash admitted, going on to say he's pretty prolific in doing his Megadeth records the way he does them. I don't see myself guesting on a Megadeth song. I don't think it would work in the context of what Megadeth does, but maybe Dave on one of my things, I don't know. He went on to say it was so cool he'd been reflecting on the riffs they conjured up together. I really love Mustaine's whole riffing style. I really love where he's coming from. So when we were hanging out together, granted it was heavily under the influence, it was a blast to be at it. We sort of got our shit together and went back to our respective bands, but we've jammed a couple times. I played with him recently at a concert where myself and Zach Wild and a couple of other guys got up and we jammed on something, and it was pretty cool. And then Dave Mustaine gave an interview about a week later where he said he would be interested in collaborating with Slash. So the the Megadeth leader called Guns N' Roses guitarist a terrific talent. So Loudwire posted the same question to Dave Mustaine, who responded quite differently than Slash did. He said Slash is a terrific talent, and I disagree wholeheartedly with what he said, that he couldn't play on a Megadeth record, Mustaine said. Mustaine later added that he would definitely be interested in doing anything with Slash. He went on to say that I basically play in a pentatonic scale, and that's like the go-to blues player scale. He mentioned that he's trying to surround himself with really good players over the years. And in the same interview, Mustaine did relive some of those moments where he was jamming with Slash back around the time of 1986 when Megadeth was working on Rust in Peace. He said, when we played together, I seem to remember that there were a couple of riffs that showed up around the Rust in Peace period that he and I knew were noodling around with. That's when all this went down. During Rust in Peace era, he added, suggesting that the complexity of the guitar parts in the album might be why Slash says he can't do it, but he certainly can. Mustaine went on to say that he makes it look effortless and it makes me so mad. It just looks like water running over a smooth stone. It's just perfect. He's done this every day of his life, and he was made for the exact moment to stand on that stage and play that solo and have all those thousands and thousands of eyes focused on him. When asked about there's potential for the two to write a song together, Mustaine declared, I would definitely be interested in doing anything with Slash. He did say that he's no desire to leave Megadeth behind in pursuit of something new. There wouldn't be a band change predicated on a single with another artist, he cautioned, expressing, but boy, I would love that. We got an interview with Megadeth frontman Dave Mustaine. So he gave an interview to Loudwire. If you guys have been following our blog or our YouTube channel for the last couple of months, there's been some back and forth between Slash and Dave Mustaine. So Slash said some pretty positive things about Dave Mustaine, and Dave Mustaine was asked about some of that stuff. So in a recent interview with Loudwire, Megadeth mastermind Dave Mustaine revealed his thoughts about possible collaboration with Slash and his band Guns N' Roses. What do I enjoy about collaboration? Well, I haven't really been fortunate enough to have a lot of collaboration with other people, Mustaine said. Although I would really like to. My brother Slash was just saying in a recent interview when he and I discussed him joining Megadeth and leaving Guns N' Roses, and we were jamming together a lot in the 80s. He's an incredible guitar player, so for me, God, I don't even know how I got on that subject. I just was checking out my Twitter and saw that Slash was telling a story about wanting to jam with me. Songwriting has changed so much. Going back to your previous question, you've got young guitar players now that honestly, you get a lot of people who play guitar that don't live to play guitar. We have this technology now that you can take a picture of me and make me look like I'm 600 years old. So why couldn't you just have someone who couldn't play guitar? Very well put something into an app and be a maestro. Actor Nicolas Cage gave an interview recently for his upcoming movie Mandy, where he talked about how his character Mandy was inspired by Axl Rose and Dave Mustaine. So to prepare for his starring role in the new horror film Mandy, Nicolas Cage drew from some of his favorite hard rock and heavy metal frontmen. So the Oscar-winning actor discussed the role in a new interview with Metal Hammer. He said, for me, all art is inspired by music on some level, Cage explained. Even when I come up with ways of speaking dialogue, it has musical intent to it. The longtime metalhead Cage went further, offering a specific example for Mandy, which has received rave reviews so far in its limited release. He said, there's one example in Mandy where I say, did I rip my shirt? I knew I was going there. I knew I was going to there with the melody and vocalization, and even though I'm a film person and not a singer, I can still hear some of the dialogue as if I'm singing almost like a metal singer, Cage explained. The voice is gravely and goes almost operatically from a growl to a scream, which is metal all over. He went on to say that shouting out to a pair of rock legends who inspired the angle he took on his film's character. He said, I think there's some influence there from Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, or sometimes Axl Rose's vocalizations come into the process by virtue of osmosis, by being around it. So that does it for our look back at the true story behind Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, and of course the band Guns N' Roses, and more specifically Slash. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. And are you guys fans of both Megadeth and Guns N' Roses? We always hear the verses of Metallica versus Guns N' Roses, but I haven't heard too much from our subscribers in terms of whether they're fans of the band Megadeth. I sort of got introduced to Megadeth around the time I started playing, Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and I've come to like their records and like some of the stuff I've heard. I'm of course a bigger Metallica fan, but I think it would be really cool to see some collaboration between Dave Mustaine and Slash. I think that's one of the things I'm a little disappointed with in Slash's career lately. Like, I remember back in the 90s, he was all about collaborating with other artists, and more recently in the last, 6 years or so, he hasn't really done a whole lot of that. And I wish that would be something he'd go back to doing, because there are some really interesting collaborations I think he could definitely do. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed that video, and be sure to subscribe for all things related to Guns N' Roses, and go follow us on GNRcentral.com. Take care.